Hi there. I'm Leah Lent, author of several articles and two books about disciplinary literacy, which I want to share with you. The first book is called This is Disciplinary Literacy. The subtitle is Reading, Writing, Thinking, and the big word, Doing, and that means students doing, content area by content area. I wrote this as a sort of what is disciplinary literacy after all? What does it mean? How is its approach different from the things that we've done in the past with literacy strategies and reading strategies? And so it's just full of ideas about how teachers can, in each content area, incorporate some of the methodologies of disciplinary literacy. But for you leaders, after I wrote this book, I began getting calls and emails saying, okay, we have the what, we've got this, but now how do we make this shift? How do we implement this in our school? Or it could be some states now are implementing this throughout the state in every content area, especially in middle and high school. How can we implement this in content areas in English and science and social studies? How can we get teachers to understand this shift and to move forward in order to take advantage of this deeper learning that happens with disciplinary literacy? So I wrote a second book, and this is called Disciplinary Literacy in Action. And it is how to create, and the big word here, sustain, a school-wide culture of deep reading, writing, thinking, and I also have to add doing, even though that's not part of the subtitle, because disciplinary literacy is all about having kids do the work in the same way that experts might do the work. Like, how does a mathematician think? How does a historian read? How does a scientist write? That again is the what, but how do we make that transfer? How do we get teachers to use the literacies of their discipline? Because we know that writing in science is very different from writing in math. How do we implement that shift? So while I wish I could just tell you in a few minutes how to make this happen, it is definitely not a train the trainer kind of model. It is a process. It is a process of ongoing, embedded, deep professional learning by teachers and administrators in order to facilitate something that will lead to going so broadly and deeply into the content area learning itself. And that is not something that can be done very quickly. It will take time. So what tips can I give you in this short amount of time that might help you get started? I can suggest two things. One is, and this is what I advocate for in this second book, is that you get cohorts of 10 to 15 teachers, say, and you allow them to really study what disciplinary literacy means. Mine are not the only books on there. There are other on this topic. There are others. Where they really understand what this means. It isn't just about teaching reading or teaching writing or everyone is a teacher of reading. It is really about identifying the skills in their content areas, and then once they've identified those literacy skills, the skills that experts use, then how are they going to start implementing that and having the kids do some of this work? So I like across content cohorts so that teachers can begin to build community. They can understand what literacy means in different content areas besides their own. So we have English teachers in here talking to us about the reading process, but then we have scientists talking to us about claim and reasoning, which we also use in social studies. So I really like doing that, especially the first year. Then we can move into the content areas and we can go more deeply into our content. Some districts like to start within the content areas and really work within the math and science groups. But sometimes that leads to that siloing effect, and we tend to do the same thing that we've always done. So I suggest that you come about this with engagement, because it's highly engaging, with joy, and with using your great teachers so that they can kind of move from sage on stage to a more student-centered approach. Good luck, and I'll be around if you need any help.